Jaron, this is the important part of having this conversation at a conference like CES, because they just talked about two other unintended consequences of the growth of this type of testing. One, economic scalability. How do we pay for it, right? How do we pay for this? And then access. So if you look at like cancer care, right? So the virtue of being a black person, you have poorer outcomes. That's what the data shows. Breast cancer, black women are 40% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women, despite having less incidence of breast cancer. The same is true for cardiovascular disease. And when you look at the data, just a social determinant of being black in America, they receive standard of care less often, okay? So when you look at this from a drug development and a clinical trial standpoint, the medicines of tomorrow will be optimized according to the genetics of those who participate in clinical trials. Okay? So when we look at like precision medicine, precision oncology, only 5% of the population has ever participated in clinical trials. And when you look at ethnic minorities, it is a small fraction of that. So if these patients aren't receiving standard of care, and we talk about access, where today these advanced molecular technologies are being offered at academic centers. They're being offered at large healthcare systems in urban areas that treat a more affluent population who's can pay out of pocket in the event that their insurance can't pay for these tests. This acceleration of genetic information, this acceleration of tests, is unintendedly has the potential of widening these healthcare disparities. But there's hope, and the solution is innovative healthcare technologies, right? So to ensure that what's happening at MD Anderson is happening 150 miles away in Jasper, Texas, in rural Texas, where I don't live in Jasper, but I live in Texas. To ensure that the same care that's being offered at the ivory tower academic institutions are offered in the rural areas where they may not have all the advanced technology and these folks who have spent years and years with expertise in a specific area. We need to ensure that all patients are at least being offered this, and raising the awareness of clinical trials and what's there, and that's how we can close the gap.
And that's the way that I want to hit on this too. That's why building these things from the ground up is so important, because the infrastructures that are built today are built around big payer systems and the economics of the past. And so I agree with you, and really empowering people, rethinking about how we build these things will enable that to happen in some of those communities. So it isn't just at in those communities that can pay for it out of pocket and all those kind of things. And so I agree with you 100% that's really critical.